Oh, okay, I got 45 minutes.
All right, so these two are my two brand new journals that I put out.
Okay.
In short, this is the philosophic one. This is the more practical one. This one is survival guide, and this one is just, like I said, the more philosophic one.
Okay.
The title of them and why I did them is important though. So the title of the journals are called Ma'at, and the other one is called Ma'at, but it's just survival guide edition. Ma'at is an African spiritual principle, and it has a lot to do with a woman who has a headband, right? And in her headband, she wears a feather, it's an ostrich feather. And so her responsibility, or I should say the significance of her feather is that the weight of the feather has to be heavier than your heart in your final judgment. So
Wow.
has some ties to even like the Christian story in the narrative. In that, so like the guy who's going to be looking at whether or not the scales have been, if the scales reflect that you have a light heart or that you have a good heart and not a heavy heart, his name is Osar. He is the chief deity or the monodeity of African spirituality.
Okay.
So he's Osar. And his son is Haru, and he brings you to his dad. So just like inside of Christianity, it says, no man can come to the Father but through me, right? So like that same narrative is still reoccurring inside of African spirituality. And so basically what Haru or however you want to term it, but just the Osar's son, he's going to take your heart, he's going to put it on the scale, he's going to put the myotic feather next to it, and as long as your heart is less heavy than the feather, you go on to a different space. You go on to a different world and a better outcome. If not, then you have to recycle and do it all over. So it's also some kind of like Buddhist reincarnation connotation as well. I mean,
Okay.
we're part of all cultures, spiritual systems, hands down. We're African. So that reminds you about balance, right? Because I talked a lot about the scales, right? So
Right.
that's what this is. It's an opportunity for the African community here in the city of South Bend and throughout the world to be able to have something that is of their thought being presented to them on their coffee tables, on their desks, inside of their classrooms. So it's
Okay.
about that type of balance. And then in addition to that, though, it's just about giving you a reminder of your African spirituality and your history and your culture. So that's the reason why I called it my eye.
Okay.
Again, like I said, this is the more philosophic one, and this one is the more practical one. So inside of this one, take a look, and it's all high resolution, full color. Advertisements in here are from South Bend-based businesses. Really cool. I think this is a cool layout for the table of contents. It gives you some information, little spot shot as to what's happening inside of each article. 60 pages each of them. So, like I said, this one is the more philosophic one. So this one is talking about great imagery. I think what we see on Instagram, it should be even more ingrained into our culture, and it should have some history attached to it, in that it should be something that is kept and memorialized.
Right.
So we also are putting these together for posterity. We want this to be a signification or a representation of what Black people think about in 2017.
Okay.
This is how we feel about the issues. This is how far we've been informed, at least this group of people, not to speak about all Africans, but these individuals here in the state of Indiana and the city of South Bend, this is where they're at with knowledge on as many areas as we possibly can touch on.
Okay.
So this one is about geopolitics, and this is about inflation, your money, where does it come from, how does it get its value, what is the American system doing. This is gonna, pull on you and maybe even ask you questions about capitalism, like what's going on with this relationship, how is this happening. But
Okay.
still, the imagery is beautiful. It still, reflects exactly what it's supposed to. It's supposed to give you that feeling before you even read the article. That image is really cool because it's from a film called Petrodollar, and the Petrodollar conversation is centered around a really famous socialist, Hugo Chavez, down in Venezuela, and about him nationalizing his oil fields in order to bring about a different type of living, right? Like
Right.
it's socialism versus capitalism is two different dynamics, and so for him to have pushed his country that way, they kind of had to demonize him, and that's why you've got this look of this guy with a machine gun and black smoke cloud filled. But really, he really tried his best to bring about a different dynamic inside his country. And it's just remarkable. But imagery, content wise look okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Look kind of
It's
cool.
drawing. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
you.
That's what we were hoping for. And inside of each article, you've got like these little like headers or you know, just quick spot shots as to what the nature of the conversation is in this part of the article. All of the articles are extremely or very hearty. So, you know, our word counts usually don't dip below about 1,200 words. They definitely don't dip below 800 words.
Okay.
So whatever is happening is hopefully a full
It's
and
engaging.
robust conversation, and definitely engaging, hopefully. Again, you know, it's really cool imagery. These are like the things that I think should stay inside of a person's heart. Conversations on why color is more than skin color. Why culture is more than skin color, which is, you know, important. Let me see, hold that up just to show. This is a depiction of Korean Games and her son, and this is a caricature that we could all get on board with, right? This is a mother in defense of her son, crying about the outcomes that she has going on. Got Cosmo over here, who was a part of the I think he's Baton Rouge. Yeah, that brother is Baton Rouge. We should not be forgetting the folks who are basically our race patriots, because some of these people are actually standing up and fighting for what they believe in, no matter what the cost is. This is Micaiah Johnson. Micaiah was the gentleman that was a part of the exchange in Dallas.
Okay.
But culture is more than skin color is, you know, an article that tells you it's not just about your skin color can't alleviate you or stop you from being oppressive to the other people that you are around.
Right.
So culture more than skin color is a conversation about how oppression has changed from using whips and started to use money as a way of doing that, and, you know, just a way of making
Okay,
people
stop.
feel
Your
small.
mom's calling.